Hey, how y'all doing today? I figured I would get on here and have a discussion, just kind of unfiltered, because I'm going to hold myself accountable. I'm going to do at least I want to say, a 30-day challenge to continue on with my videos, talking to you ladies out there just about life and some of the challenges that take place. Over the weekend, I had on some lashes, and they kind of messed with my eyes. So I um I decided I'm just gonna not worry about putting on lashes or makeup to try to, have this kind of, persona. But I guess as real as I can be, just like not having on any foundation really. I put a little on, but it ain't really doing nothing for me. But I'm here, and I just decided that I am going to show up for you like I need to show up for myself. And the title of the discussion today, I know you're probably seeing it, it was talking about just how things can really keep us kind of stuck, and the real reason why we're not really making any progress as we get older. It's a lot of factors. Don't get me wrong. I get it. It's a lot of factors that's going on, but let me just kind of like pull back a little bit and say that, in all honesty, I know that I have always been called to help out a lot of women as far as just having those conversations, because conversations about life and the struggles and the highs and the lows, it's hard to find that tribe of people that really understands the season that you're in. And I want to be that voice for a lot of you out there. I have a lot of time today, but I'm not going to take up all your time. But I want you to kind of listen in to some of the things that is really on my heart. And COVID taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about being real, about where I have been in my life. And just like with you, I know that since that time, it's been a lot of changes, and some things you just can't snatch back the way it used to be. And I don't know if that makes sense or not. It's not like I'm just rambling in a way I am, but I want to set the center stage. Our discussion today will be based around the fact of finding out the reason why we're not making the progress in our lives in this season the way that we say that we want it. And it's not an easy thing. I would say that it is painful to recognize that maybe we have missed the mark. It's painful to stay in that place. And some women don't know how to get out of it. They may have a good friend that they talk to about, hey, I don't know what's going on, but I want all of these different things to happen in my life. But yet I don't see the manifestation of it. And the harder I try, it seems like things kind of get away from me, right? And I've been there. I've been there so many times that I had to recognize that we could be our own worst critic. And that's what I decided to talk about, how we truly are sabotaging the life that we say we want because of a series of events. It is very easy to get caught up in other people's situations and help them out, get them on the path of things going well with them, but then we find ourselves stuck. And I wanted to talk about the different phases of it and how we've gotten there, because it's not like you haven't accomplished things in your life in the times past. It's not like you haven't showed up for yourself, but as we get older, I discovered that going through the change of life, going through the shift in people that are in your life and in your space, all of that has a whole big reason why you feel like, am I making any traction? Like, am I really showing up for myself? And most of the time, the answer is no. The answer is no, you're not really showing up for yourself the way you could. But I would say this, it's time for us to really change, y'all. And there are those that will say, well, girl, what you mean? And why do I need to change? No, it's not like you need to. It's like life is happening anyway, whether you're ready for it or not. And there are times when people have gotten stuck and felt like the whole world was caving in on them, and they couldn't really understand what was going on. And I've been there. I tell y'all all the time that that's how I started to think about maybe I need to start this YouTube channel, because of the fact that I know what it's like to feel like you're in a whole major fight by yourself because you don't have that particular tribe that can help you get unstuck. Now, don't get me wrong. When we get older, we want to slow down in a lot of areas of our life. For example, no one wants to be beating the pavement all the time talking about the workforce, because we've all been there. And we had to get up. We had to make ourselves be present because we needed that check. We needed to provide for our families. But most of us now, we don't have to do that so much for others because our children are grown or the situation has changed. You may have decided to take a different path in life, but it does not negate the fact that you still got to show up for you. And, it always doesn't happen. So, what does it look like to make that pivot? It means that we got to silent, the words in our head or the things that go on in our head that tells us that you don't need to push that hard in certain areas because it don't take all that now, girl. All you need to do is sit down. You want to chill out. You want to relax. Well, for some, yeah, people may want to do that. But then there are others who still have this fight in them or this destiny, this passion to want to show up and be great in their own lives. And I think that's okay. So it's not like you're stuck because you don't have the strength, and it's not like you're stuck in a maze because we don't have any wisdom, because God knows we have so much wisdom to share with the younger generation now. And a lot of us do that, but we don't take our own advice. I'm telling y'all, we don't take our own advice all the time. And because of that, we ourselves are our worst enemies. So we sabotage a lot of things. And therefore, I want to talk about, and I wrote it down, how do you silence some sabotage that has happened? Because what's happening is it's going on internally. Yesterday, I shared with a group of women in a small group that one of my good friends, they facilitate. And I was sharing with them the same dynamic, and I felt like I needed to also put it on this platform. We talked about how self-sabotage is an internal thing, right? It is internally making you feel like, oh, I can't do it, or it kind of holds you back. And it looks like procrastination. It looks like making excuses, right? It looks like always putting the blame on others because we're not where we really want to be. Have you ever maybe looked at someone else's platform, because we're all on social media now, and you seen pictures or videos of people who may be living the life that you felt you wanted to live, as far as maybe you wanted to be a fashion designer when you were younger. I don't know. I don't even know why that came to my mind. But there are people who have dreams that's left on the table. Now, I'm not trying to rally everybody up to, right, go get a 9 to 5, because you might not be in that space anymore. You may want to travel the world, but you feel as though there's no one to go with you. And I shared this before on my other video. But what I'm saying is we internalize so many things that we miss the mark, y'all. And I'm speaking for myself. There was so many opportunities that I did not take because I was my own worst enemy. I was the critic in my head that said, oh, maybe that's not for you, or it's not the timing, it's not the season, I can't do that, or I'm too tired. And that could cause us to really shrink back in our own lives. And, I was just having those thoughts today that it is amazing how all of that plays a major role in our lives. Now, I wrote down some other things and I want to share it with you. I want to share with you from the place of being in that space that you're in and realizing that I don't want to stay there anymore. I don't want to stay stuck, realizing that I do have choices. And when I started thinking about this conversation all around getting unstuck, but pretty much the real title is talking about sabotaging, because we do sabotage our own selves, but we blame others for it. I know what I'm talking about. We've done it. You've done it. Everybody has done that. It reminds me of a story in the Bible, and it was a story about a man who was impotent, which means that he couldn't walk. He was sitting lame at the pool of Bethesda. And that story you'll find in the book of John. If you are a Christian, it's in the book of John, chapter 5, verses 1 through 9. And it talks about a man who was sitting at the pool. And the story goes that in the water, in the pool itself, that there was, I'm going to paraphrase, there was healing in the water. And most of the time, people that would come to that particular pool at that specific time of the year, they would get healed from whatever disease that they had, whatever was going on in their bodies. And at that time, Jesus was there at the pool, and he noticed this man. He had saw him before the man even recognized who he was. This is me paraphrasing. You can go back and read it. And what happened was, Jesus asked this person, did they want to be healed? And when he was asked the question, he started making all type of excuses on why he had never got into the pool. He said that every time the waters is troubled, or every time, I'm going to paraphrase it, every time he wants to get ready to do it, ready to make his way, that there's always somebody that has gotten in front of him. And Jesus asked him, did you want to be made whole? And then the man decided, okay, at that moment, I guess he probably got it together mentally and realized that, I think I need to go ahead and I need to go ahead and make it right. Let me just go ahead so I can get healed and move on. But what I took away from that, because as I was thinking about just sabotaging things that I know that I could have taken, a lot of gigs in my life, or a lot of different opportunities, I looked at it as, did I make any type of excuses on why I did not go for it? And I noticed that the impotent man, he always was putting it off on someone else, but he never looked at himself as the culprit who was stopping him from moving forward. And I believe that it's just like us. Have you ever been in a position where you had someone ask you to do something and you told them, well, I can't because I have this going on, I got that going on, and yet you decided that I'm going to use that as an scapegoat when you really could have taken the opportunity? And sometimes we don't move out of fear of change. Because let's just be honest, change isn't easy for anybody. I don't care how old you are. It's not really a thing that you just sign up for and say, oh yeah, let me just go ahead and just like blow everything I knew up to smithereens and just start all over. Let me just dismantle what I thought my life was going to be. Yeah, let me just go ahead and take an axe to it and just tear everything down. No, it's not that easy. It is very difficult, but it can happen with one thing, a mindset shift. Everybody got to do a mindset shift, regardless of what they're trying to accomplish in life, because your body can't go where your mind won't grow. And you got to recognize that some people feel like they're inadequate in their 50s, in their 60s, because they've always been held back by what people used to say about them. Or in the family, you might have been the one less likely to do things. And so, again, you could be the type of person that likes to be in the background. You ever heard, or maybe you might be that person that always talked about, no, I'm good. I just stay in the background. I like to help out in the background. No, I don't want to be seen. I'm not that type of person. And having that mentality could have caused you a lot of opportunities Just think about it. When most of us think about our life, the thing we say is, oh, if I would have known then what I know now, I would not have done X, Y, and Z. We all have had that moment. Or if I would have taken that opportunity, I would have been in a better position in my life, right? It's something to think about. You see, sabotage is definitely an internal behavior that shows up externally by us not making movement. And I never forget the fact that I had this one friend, and her name was Crystal. God bless her soul. She's no longer with us, but she was very sickly a lot. And with her being sick a lot, she couldn't really go places. She stayed in a hospital. And I remember this one time I went to see her, and this is why I keep going forward making videos, because I used to keep her laughing. And she told me, keep going, keep doing what you're doing, keep making your videos, because I am living vicariously through your eyes. I'm living vicariously through the things that I see you doing, and how I wish I could go, but I can't. And that got me to thinking, to have some real deep down discussions with myself, that how about me sharing with the world what I have learned? Now, I get it. We all got something to teach somebody, right? Now, I would love to learn how to sew, and I even have a sewing machine now. Don't get me wrong, but I have a problem, trying to keep things going together on that sewing machine thing. It's just not my thing, but it doesn't mean that I can't try. And some people won't even take that opportunity. Some people won't even give it a chance because of sabotage. You fear the unknown. But if you fall on your face, so what? Okay, it's just a moment in time, and you will get past that. But I do believe that every single thing that anyone has ever accomplished or not accomplished, it's all because there's not a mindset shift. There is not that connection. And it could be because of past pain, disappointment, or someone told you that you were not qualified for that, or you girl, you terrible at that, don't even try. And now that has given you this kind of injury where you feel like, nah, I'm not going to try it again, because you sit in that pain of what people said about you, and it's hard for you to get past that. I know what I'm talking about. I think we all had to get to the place of being tired and sick and tired. And I recognize, even in the Bible, I always revert back to a lot of stories in there, because it is reigning true today. There was two, they call them men with leprosy, that was sitting at the gate. Now, I'm going to paraphrase this for you, but put it this way. These two men, they was hungry. And they were set apart because they had leprosy, which means they had some type of skin disease, and no one wanted to get close to them. But they were hungry, and there was a gate that was separating them from getting to the food. Because on the other side, there had been they was told some food over there from an army that was there, and they had left, and all the spoils was there. In the Bible, they call it spoils, which means maybe some gold, some clothes, maybe some jewelry, whatever it is, and also some food. Because wherever they sat up at that time, there was always things left behind. So one leopard said to the other leopard, listen, I'm hungry. You hungry? Well, why sit here at this gate and die? So let's go ahead and try, because if we're going to die, at least we're going to die trying. So why sit right here and just let it happen? And I love that analogy, because they made a conscious decision to not sit in the seat of despair. They made it happen. They decided to press forward in spite of everything that they had experienced. And at times, we don't say things out loud. And I think it's time that you got to tell yourself the truth. You got to tell yourself the truth of where you're at. And the only way that you can emerge from where you are is to be honest with yourself. You ever had a friend that always talked about everybody else and their shortcomings, but they never looked at themselves? And the funny thing about me, I can only talk about me. I will talk about people, but now I'll talk about myself too. I always saying, listen, girl, you got to get it together, right? You got to get this thing together. You, honey, you ain't got it all together either. And that's what keeps me in check, because you got to be real with yourself. You can't always look externally at others and don't recognize that you got issues too. And so when I'm talking to people, it's not like, oh, I'm looking down at others as if they don't have their lives together in certain areas. I'm just here to be a conduit to help some women, not all. Now, if it's not for you, I get it. If it's not that time or season for you and you are good where you're at, that's cool too. But I'm talking to the women that know that on the other side of their despair or their feelings of inadequacies, there could be some great things on the other side of that. And that's one of the reasons why, every year I give retreats. And when I give retreats, I always make sure that we not only deal with the spiritual, but we deal with the natural as well. I host retreats in the Blue Ridge Mountains in Asheville, North Carolina. And I don't know if some of you might be interested in, attending. There's only limited space. But if you are interested in being a part of it, make sure you hit me up in the comment section. But I will say this, it's very difficult at times, not for everyone, to get women to buy into stealing away some time to pour into themselves, because we are so busy. And I say we because all of us, we're so busy building an empire for others, or working, and we're working in the natural. We're going to a job, or we're taking care of people, we're doing all of the things, but we're not taking time for us to replenish or to learn some new things. My favorite saying now, and I think I say it like 1,000 times a day, is that you're never too old to learn something new. We have to unlearn some things, because everything that I was taught doesn't mean that it applies today. Doesn't mean that it doesn't need an upgrade and understanding of what it really meant. Our parents back in the day, they worked until they died, literally. I can just speak for myself. I don't know about your parent. But when I think about all of the things that my mother left behind, as far as unfinished business, it was all because I truly sensed that it was a fear of change. I remember my mother, she was retired, and she retired pretty young, because she had got discharged from her job for disability. But the truth of the matter is, sometimes people think that finalizes your life. That puts like a nail in the coffin to say that, oh, that's it. Yeah, my life's over, and I think I'm gonna check out, and I'm just gonna sit here. No, you still can dream out loud. You can build a different type of lifestyle for yourself. You just got to be willing to do the work. And you need people to rally around you. When you can't find that extra push for yourself, you need somebody to come and give you a swift kick up the butt. I know what I'm talking about. You need someone to give you a swift kick up the butt, to tell you that no, change is real. Change can happen for you, but somebody can come along and hold your hand by watching these videos, by getting some ideas. So yeah, I talked about the things that hold us back, the reason why we can't make that turn, right? The reason why we're stuck in certain areas after we have looked around and change has happened. Because let's keep it real, change is inevitable. It's going to happen for each one of us. You can't escape change, and you cannot escape the fact that you're going to get older. That's not going to ever come to a halt. So we got to be courageous. We have to reframe our mindset. And I talk about that all the time, because there is no lack in your wisdom, there's no lack in your experiences. Only thing that's lacking is the reality that you can move. You can make a different move. You can reprogram your mindset. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand that when it comes down to the job market, with everything that's going on in the world today, we do have to be very mindful of the decisions that we make. But I'm talking about some of our lifestyles, right? I'm talking about rebuilding friendships, getting new friends in your life, because I've been kind of on a bandwagon about that. Is that we've gotten it in our minds, some of us, that we no longer need new friends. But I want to kind of dispel that myth. I want to dispel that myth that I don't believe that. I believe that if you want new friends, the word of God says if you want a friend, you have to show yourself friendly. And I am in agreement with that, because certain friends that was in your life at a specific time, they may not be the ones that's going to go with you on this next leg of your journey. And because of that, I think that we should be open for new friendships for where you're going now. And I'll never forget, there was a person that was dear to my heart. It was like a sister for a long time. We talking 20 plus years of a friendship. And I used to feel sad about this, but I no longer feel sad, because I understand that where she was going, she had to drop me off because I was not going where she was. And I recognize that. Most of the time when people talk about change, we want to throw, blame on others. And it doesn't always have to be a negative reason why someone is no longer a part of your life. Elevation mentally, spiritually, educational wise, people tend to form new friendships. And that's fine. Because I'm quite sure you don't have the same friends for every circle. No, it's depending on what type of social gathering, what type of uh, social interaction that you had with that person. It could be at work. You have your work friends, you have your friends that you met from college or high school or childhood friends. You get the picture. But what I am saying is that it's okay. It's not the time to be afraid of new friendships, because new friendships can bring things to your life. They can be the one that can expose you to areas where you had no clue that you could have pivoted in that particular way. And so with that friend that I was telling you about, now that I look back at it, more than likely, and I'm gonna keep it real with you, for a while, God kept telling me that it was time to cut the friendship off, but I kept trying to hold on to it. And I would see signs that there was trouble because our language, our lingo wasn't matching. She was wanting to do different things, and I was in a different space in my life. But because I felt loyal to her, that kept me stuck. And I didn't realize it. I didn't realize that kept me stuck, so that I couldn't get new friends in my life, because I was hyper focused on always doing things with this person, always making plans and trips with this person. And that was a 20 plus year relationship. And it came to an end. And I have to, say it was devastating. I kind of thought all the time, well, what did I do? What did I say? Because it wasn't like I had it's time for me to move on because of X, Y, and Z. No, it was just, all right, no more conversations. The distance was there. And just like that happened with me, I had to do that with someone recently because I recognize that there's always red flags. There's always a warning before it ends. Y'all know it. It's just like in a relationship, with a man. You see the signs, but you try to discard them because of a couple of reasons. And this is going back to talking about the reasons why we can't kind of move forward, is because of familiarity. Familiarity will keep you right there in that position because it's all you know. So you cling to what you're used to, not recognizing that God is trying to get something better to you, but you stuck in an area where you're not allowing for new things to enter your life, to enter your space where you can benefit from. I think that relationship was built upon, the last one was built upon the need at the time. It was more so like we were in the same space, getting out of relationships, and we used to be on the phone for hours talking about the same thing over and over, like kids, like little teenage girls that had a crush and now their hearts are broken. And I think that I allowed that relationship that I had with them, where I met them, to spill over into a lot of my personal life. And I shared a lot with them and they shared a lot with me. But one day I just really recognized that I need to distance myself because where I see myself going, although I may not be there at the moment, I knew I had to break that off because it was really messing with my vision of where I was going. I could not focus. And when you have a connection with people and they're not going where you're going and you still try to be loyal to them, after a while it's going to drain you. So again, all of those things that have been holding us back, right? And the reason why it's hard to rebuild is because we don't want to let go. We don't want to let go of the familiar. And I get it. It's very, very hard. And what do you do when you say to yourself, well, I can't shift? It's going to cost you something. And I wrote it down. Let me tell you what not shifting will cost you. It will cost you a lot. It's going to cost you, the missed opportunities, as I said earlier, and your confidence, the confidence that you will never build in a different area. Because don't you know you can look strong in front of everybody else? They think that you're the strong one because you give all the advice. You're able to see the bigger picture for everyone else, but you got a problem seeing it for yourself. And that right there is a big reason why you got to look and count the costs. Now, if you're okay where you're at, hey, this is just food for thought. And now, if you want to move further, we got to look at the peace that you'll never experience if you don't make that move. Because rebuilding does cost you something. And when you don't move in the things that is really kind of, I would say, crying out to you, in the sense of, have you ever seen someone living the life that you want to live on your social media? Or someone has taken a trip somewhere and they're showing all the highlights, and you're sitting back and you're just looking and being like, man, I wish that was me. It could be. It could be you, but you have to get out of your own way and recognize how important it is to you. Is it important to you? Is it important to you to change? Do you feel fulfilled where you are, working the job that you have? Or now you're retiring, now what? Now that you can use that word retire, and you look around and you're saying, okay, now what do I do? I've heard it said some people kind of like shun the fact of retiring to do something else. because they are used to doing that same thing over and over again. And they say that they are content. They're content with living that life. And that's okay if that's where they want to be. But I'm talking to the women who know that it's time for a pivot, it's time for a change, it's time for you to move into things that you really want to do and stop allowing your mind to take you to a place that you don't need to go. And that's called like, I'm disqualifying myself. I don't have what it takes. I'm exhausted. Could it be that you're exhausted because you're always putting out other people's fires? You're always working with other people. You're always doing things for others. And you're not looking at how you could have the potential of doing great things in your life. Is it possible that you are just really afraid of change? I'm gonna leave this with you. Here's my last little spiel for today, is that I had a friend and they were older than me. And I remember meeting this person at the time in their life where I'm thinking, hey, I know this person got it together because I'm looking at their age. I'm looking at the things that I see they have already accomplished. But what I didn't know was internally, they were always talking themselves out of what they really wanted. And that's okay. But what I recognized was a pattern. Every time that there was a problem to the solution, they was always finding a way to disqualify themselves. They were a good cook, and they wanted more income. And I would share sometimes my advice on maybe ways that they can make changes in their lives, because I saw how talented they were, and yet I saw that there was a need. And I'm that type of person. If there's a problem, I'm kind of like a problem solver. A lot of times people do come to me for advice, and I would give it, but I had to learn to take my own advice. I had to learn that. How many of you do the same thing? You give out advice, but you don't take your own advice. But when I started taking my own advice, things started to change for me. Things started to shift for me. And she just felt inadequate to do a lot of things. And no matter what I said, no matter what encouragement, pep talks, the long nights on the phone, it just didn't shift for her. And then I noticed one day, I don't know exactly what day it happened, but I recognized after a while, I don't hear from that person any longer. And then it went on to days, weeks, months, and years. And what I discovered out of that was they dropped off because they weren't going where I was going. I wanted to elevate my life. I didn't feel like my life was over because I was getting older. I wanted to elevate my life because I felt I deserved it. I deserve what I desire in my life. Now, I don't know what it is that you are searching for. If you're saying, girl, I just want some peace and quiet, do you have it? I just want to have that opportunity to do X, Y, and Z. Are you working towards it? Is that your vision? Are you sitting down with a pen and paper, and are you mapping out how you're going to get to that place? See, I had to learn too. A lot of things was always in my mind, but I hadn't put it on paper. And when you don't put it on paper, it's not really real as it relates to having that accountability, because you wrote it down or you maybe recorded it. And I started to realize I couldn't get mad at people that were distancing themselves from me or me distancing myself from them, because I recognized that it was to protect them, because they weren't going where I was going. I'm still dreaming. I'm still wanting to blossom in my life. I'm looking forward to bigger and better things, where there is some people who all they want to do is, I just want this, and this. And I had to recognize that sometimes I could be too much for other people because I'm a dreamer. I never stop evolving. And that's something that my children has said to me. You always doing things. And one of my kids said that they told some of their friends, my mother's my same age. And I asked him, what do you mean by that? He said, because my mother's on more social media platforms than me. Because it's not about staying relevant. And then in a way, maybe it is staying relevant and upgrading my mindset, upgrading the things that I want to do that makes me happy. So, with that being said, I want to encourage you, if you truly desire to come out, it's in North Carolina. I don't know, your address. I don't know your location. But it will be in North Carolina. And I wanted to invite some of you out there. I'm throwing caution to the wind. I usually keep everything in a small group, and maybe I need to start sharing it more. That I am not only someone who likes to share about life challenges, the good things, the bad things, the ugly, and the triumphs that we have, but I want to start inviting people into the circle that I have. Not like, oh, I just want to be like the world. No, I think that there is a missing component in certain circles that I see out there. People gather sometimes to get notoriety, but I have been gathering women together for over a span 20 plus years to grow spiritually and naturally by sharing with them personal development and having that component of having biblical sound doctrine, minister to them. And I wanted to just put that out there. If you're interested in being a part of my women's retreat, is going to be in August, and it's limited space. So I want to make that known. It's limited space. So if you're really serious about it, you can always, I think I'll put my email in my comment section so that if you are truly serious about it, you can hit me up in my email. Tell me, hey, I heard all the information on your YouTube channel. And so with that, then I can respond back to you that way. But if you are watching my spiel right now, if you come on this page and you like what you hear, go ahead and make sure that you like and subscribe to my channel and share it with some of your girlfriends that will say, listen, this girl is absolutely right. Midlife, your life isn't over. I felt like that for a while. I did. I felt like that for a while. But then I started saying, nah, my life's not over. It's just beginning. I'm just in a new chapter. You know how you read a book, honey, and you get almost to the end, but you say, oh, no, it's one more chapter. So keep on creating your last chapter. You're not even your last chapter, because I don't want to say that. Keep creating until you can't create no more. So that's it for me. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Make sure that you tell your friends about it, and I will see you on the next video.